Chapter 18 of the Shokan by Frederick Chambliss Wemyss. Get along, little doh-geeze, sang the scientist. Oh, ride along slow, 'cause the fiery and the snuffy are rarin' to go. He kissed Bob and Fred good night. As he sat down at the checkered table, he heard Bob say, "You didn't sing the Wild Colonial Boy." "Yes, I did," said the scientist. "No, you sang Ned Kelly." The scientist got up from the table and stood in the doorway. He leaned in. "You got me," he said. Bob and Fred sat up in the bed, and the scientist sat on the edge. "Just this song, and then it's time to sleep," he said. "Okay." There was a wild colonial boy, Jack Duggan was his name. He was born and raised in Ireland, in a place called Castle, Maine. He was his father's only son, his mother's pride and joy, and dearly did his parents love the wild colonial boy. At the early age of 16 years he left his native home, and to Australia's sunny shore he was inclined to roam. He robbed the rich, he helped the poor, he shot James McAvoy. A terror to Australia was the wild... "Daddy, who was James McAvoy?" said Fred. "A terror to Australia was the wild colonial boy." "But why did he shoot James McAvoy?" One morning on the prairie, as Jack he rode along, is Jackie, Jack Duggan, a-listening to the mockingbird, a-singing a cheerful song. Up stepped a band of troopers, Kelly, Davis, and Fitzroy, and they set out to capture him, the wild colonial boy. "Surrender now, Jack Duggan, you see we're 3-1. Surrender in..." "What's 3-1?" "Surrender in the king's high name, you are a plundering son." "Was James McAvoy famous?" "Fred," said Bob. "James McAvoy was probably known when the song was written," said the scientist. "I'll fight but not..." "No," said Bob. "He drew 2 pistols from his belt and proudly..." "He drew 2 pistols from his belt," sang the scientist, "and proudly waved them high." "I'll fight but not surrender," cried the wild colonial boy. He fired a shot at Kelly, which brought him to the ground, and turning round to Davis he received a fatal wound. A bullet pierced his proud young heart from the pistol of Fitzroy, and that was how they captured him, the wild colonial boy. "Good night, boys. Go to sleep." The scientist took his seat at the checkered table just past the doorway and opened his copy of Joseph and His Brothers. The boys watched him reading. Bob whispered to Fred, "James McAvoy shot Ned Kelly." "But it says a rope and a rafter of the sun in the east," said Fred. "They hung his dead body." "Daddy," said Frank from the front porch. The scientist looked up from his book. "Yes? Can you sing Ned Kelly?" "I already sang it." "You only sang it to Bob and Fred." "But couldn't you hear it?" "Well," said the scientist after a pause. He got up and went to the porch. "Ned Kelly was born in a ramshackle hut. He battled since he was a kid." The 3 boys listened.